Good morning. I will start my session for today. The topic is simple present tense, and I am going to wait for the rest of the people.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fine, thanks, teacher. And you?
Very good. Thanks. We are going to wait a little bit for the rest. Okay?
Okay.
You can turn off your microphone, please. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning, teacher Marelby. How are you?
Very good. Thanks. And you?
Fine, really fine.
Okay. We are going to wait a little bit. Okay? So you can turn your microphone off, please.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, I think we can start right now the session. Um, Maria Elvis, how was your weekend?
My weekend is fine, teacher.
What did you do in your weekend?
Well, I was with my children and the cinema.
Ah, okay. What did you saw in the cinema?
We saw Capitana Marvel.
And how is it? Do you like it?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
very good.
wonderful.
It was nice, okay. And what about you, Stephanie? What did you do in your last weekend?
Well, teacher, my weekend was amazing. I went out with my boyfriend and his family to a park, a little beautiful park. And there we swam a bit, but it was very cold, so that part was awful. But we ate a lot. We ate meat, chocolate with bread and cheese.
Okay.
I don't know, sausages, chorizos, and sancocho, and was very nice.
Okay, very good. And did you enjoy a pool or in a river?
A pool,
Ah, okay,
a
very
swimming pool, but was terrible because the weather was awful. But well, what a great time, I think.
okay.
And
Okay.
you?
I have my son, my birthday, and my son. We had a small party here in my house because my son turned 3 years. So
Mm,
we did a small party with our family and relatives, but it was nice actually. I had a great time
great.
out. Okay,
Yeah, great.
okay, very good. So now we are going to start the class. This class is interesting for us. I am going to share with you the PowerPoint presentation. This is the simple present tense. This topic is really important for us. Um, so let me check. If we are going to talk about the simple present tense, we are going to talk about instantaneous situations and newspaper headlines with non-progressive telling histories in ceremonial or formal conversations for habits or repetitive actions with future constructions for general truths or scientific facts for giving directions and instructions or for scheduling programs or arrange future. So we are going to see a video about this simple present tense and an explanation, okay?
Simple present tense. There are 12 verb tenses in the English language. For the simple tenses, we have the simple present, simple past, and simple future. For the perfect tenses, we have the present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. For the progressive or continuous tenses, we have the present progressive, past progressive, and future progressive. And lastly, for the perfect progressive tenses, we have the present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive. This lesson will talk about a simple present tense. To make a positive simple present statement, simply follow this pattern. Subject plus main verb. Simple present tense is used for the following reasons. Number 1, for things that are true in general. Examples: cheetah is the fastest land animal. Fruits and vegetables contain a lot of vitamins. Mr. Jackson lives alone. Cheetah, fruits and vegetables, and Mr. Jackson are the subjects in these sentences, while is, contain, and lives are the verbs. Number 2, for habits or for things that happen sometimes or all the time. The following adverbs are commonly used for simple present tense: never, sometimes, usually, frequently, often, and always. Examples: I sometimes skip breakfast. She goes to school late. Mr. and Mrs. Jones always visit their grandchildren. I, she, and Mr. and Mrs. Jones are the subjects in these sentences, while skip, goes, and visit are the verbs. If you notice, all the examples follow the pattern subject plus main verb. For the negative sentence, the pattern is subject plus doesn't or don't plus main verb in base form. Examples: Peter bakes delicious cookies. Peter doesn't bake delicious cookies. My classmates like our history teacher. My classmates don't like our history teacher. If you notice, the main verbs in these sentences are all changed into their base form: bake and like. For questions, the sentence structure is do or does plus subject plus main verb in base form. Examples: you like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? She lives in New York. Does she live in New York? They study in the same school. Do they study in the same school? Remember that in making questions, do and does should come first. Try to compare the differences between the structures of the simple present sentences. We have here the positive and negative statements and the questions. Examples: her perfume smells good. Her perfume doesn't smell good. Does her perfume smell good? Honey comes from bees. Honey doesn't come from bees. Does honey come from bees? The third one: Tim and his friends play chess all the time. Tim and his friends don't play chess all the time. Do Tim and his friends play chess all the time? The last one: Dad and Uncle Jim watch football every night. Dad and Uncle Jim don't watch football every night. Do Dad and Uncle Jim watch football every night? For our exercise, make sentences in simple present tense. The first one: sunlight helps plants grow. The negative sentence should be sunlight doesn't help plants grow. And for the question, it should be does sunlight help plants grow? The second one: she doesn't work in a bank. The positive statement should be she works in a bank. And the question is, does she work in a bank? The third one: do bears hibernate in winter? The positive statement should be bears hibernate in winter. And the negative statement should be bears don't hibernate in winter. The fourth one: Mrs. Scott cleans her house every morning. The negative statement should be Mrs. Scott doesn't clean her house every morning. And the question is, does Mrs. Scott clean her house every morning? And the last one, you don't brush your hair every night. The positive statement should be, you brush your hair every night. And the question should be, do you brush your hair every night? Did you get it right?
This is an app for project management tool called Monday.com. This is what it looks
Okay.
Simple present
So,
tense.
this is the topic for today, the simple present tense. And here I'm going to explain to you a little bit. So, okay, this one. Here, when we are going to talk about one third person, we are going to add s or es, depends of the case. For example, she goes to school late. Okay. In third person, remember, in affirmative, positive phrase, we are going to use the s at the end of the verb. This is so important. For the rest, we are going to use the verb in the regular form. Okay. So, I sometimes skip breakfast. She goes to school late. Mr. and Miss Jones always visit their grandchildren. So, for the negative sentences, we are going to use doesn't or don't, depend of the case. If it's for third person, we are going to use doesn't, okay, or does not. And for the rest, we are going to use don't, okay? This is for the negative sentences. Subject, verb, main verb, and the rest of the phrase. This is positive, yes? This is negative. Peter doesn't bake delicious cookies, okay? We are going to use the doesn't and bake without the s at the end. In positive, we use the s at the end of the verb. In negative, we use the auxiliary and the verb in a regular form, okay? For example, my classmates like our history teacher. My classmates don't like our history teacher. And in questions, this is the positive. You like ice cream. You like the verb ice cream. Okay? Do you like ice cream? Do, we use the auxiliary here and the verb. Okay? In third person, in positive, remember, she lives in New York, lives with the S at the end of the verb. But when it's question, we use the auxiliary does, she live, and we don't use the S at the end of the question. Just we use the auxiliary does. Okay? Does she live in New York? Do they study in the same school? Okay, here we have some examples. Her perfume smells good. Like we see, the S is here. The S at the end of the verb. Okay? In negative, we use the auxiliary doesn't or don't, depend of the case. Does, we use for questions, does or do. Okay? So I say before, the simple present tense is used for instantaneous situations. In sports, for example, Ronaldo passes the ball to Benzema. For newspaper headlines, man enters space. With non-progressive, I believe that you are innocent. When telling histories, suddenly the window opens and a masked man enters. In ceremonial or formal conversations, I pronounce you man and wife. For habits and repeat actions, the child drinks milk every day. With future constructions, I will call you before I leave. For general truths or scientific facts, water boils at 100 centigrades. For giving directions and instructions, first of all, break the eggs and whisk with sugar. For scheduled programs or arranged future, the examination starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, like we saw in the video, we can use for things that don't change, describing ourselves or facts or some habitual actions. Okay, for example, I don't smoke, or maybe um, I like to read books every morning, for example. Okay, we use always adverbs of frequency, like always, usually, frequently, often, never. Okay, so we have the same thing here, the S plus verb plus object, subject plus verb plus object. Okay, this is the same thing that we saw before. Remember, this is for facts, habitual actions, things that don't change or won't change, and describing yourself. Okay, let me check another. Okay, simple present tense. The simple present tense is one of several forms of present tense in English. It is used to describe habits and changing situations, general truths, and fixed arrangements. The simple present tense is simple to form. Just use the base form of the verb. I take, you take, we take, they take. The third person singular takes an S at the end. It takes, she takes. The simple present tense is used to express habits, general thoughts, repeated actions, or unchanging situations, emotions, and wishes. I smoke is an habit. I work in London, unchanging situation. London is a large city. This is a general truth. To giving instructions or directions, you walk for 200 meters, then you turn left. This is like they are going to say something about one direction. To express fixed arrangement, present or future. Your exam starts at 9. To express future time after some conjunctions. After, when, before, as soon as, until. He will give it to you when you come next Saturday. But be careful. The simple present tense is not used to express actions happening now. Remember the last class when we saw the verbs plus the ing form. So, when we are going to talk about expressions or actions that happening now, we are going to use the ing form. But for the rest, like this simple present tense, we are going to use the verb in a regular form. Okay? For example, for habits, he drinks tea at breakfast. She only eats fish. They watch television regularly. For repetitive actions or events, we catch the bus every morning. It rains every afternoon in the hot season. They drive to Monaco every summer. For general thoughts, water freezes at 0 degrees. The earth revolves around the sun. Her mother is Peruvian. For instructions or directions, open the packet and pour the contents into hot water. You take the number 6 bus to Whitney and then the number 10 to Bedford. For fixing arrangements, his mother arrives tomorrow. Our holiday starts on the 26th March. With future constructions, she will see you before she leaves. We'll give it to her when she arrives. Okay, so we have some examples here. I think, you think, he, she, and it thinks. Remember, you need to add in he, she, or it the final s. Okay, depends of the case. For example, I show you go. We are going to add es. Okay. Now, for the rest, we always use the verb in a regular form. And here we have the interrogative. Do I think? Do you think? Does he think? Does she think? Does it think? Do we think? Do they think? Always remember with these three, he, she, or it, we use the auxiliary does for question. Remember, we don't add the s at the end of the verb in question form, just in affirmative form. Okay? And here we have the negative examples. I do not think, or I don't think. You do not think. You don't think. He doesn't not think. She doesn't not think. It doesn't not think. We do not think. They do not think. We have here he, she, and it does not. Okay? This is the auxiliary for the third person. Okay, here we have some notes. In the third person singular, the verb always ends in s. Always. He wants, she needs, he gives, she thinks. Remember, this is really important. In positive, we are going to use always the verb plus the s at the end of the verb. Okay? In negative and question, we use the auxiliary does or do. Does for third person, do for the rest. He wants ice cream. Does he want strawberry? He does not want vanilla. So for the verbs ending in I, the third person changes the I to IES. Flyers, fries. Exception, if there is a vowel before the I, play, plays, pray, praise. We are going to change this. Just we add the S. If it's a vowel before the Y. Okay? For example, here we have more examples. He goes to school every morning. She understands English. It mixes the sun and the water. He tries very hard. She enjoys playing the piano. Hello? Who is here with us?
Hey, hi teacher, I apologize for arriving late. I was in the work.
Okay, don't worry about that. Okay. So we have here the simple present tense. So remember that we need to use the S at the end of the verb in third person, the auxiliary do or does for negative of question, and that's it. Please don't forget the S at the end of the third person. This is in the verb. This is really important, okay? This is a common mistake that we are making, but for sure with practice we can avoid this kind of mistakes, okay? Do you have any questions until now?
No, teacher. It's clear.
Okay. So let me share again my screen. And here we have another example. So it's the same thing. So we use don't or doesn't to make negative sentences in the simple present tense. Okay? For example, here we have the subject I, you, we, they, plus the auxiliary. In this case, we use don't. Okay? And the verb. And here we have he, she, or it. This is their person. And we are going to use the auxiliary doesn't and the verb. So, in affirmative, you speak English. In negative, you don't speak English. In affirmative, we say he speaks English. Remember, in affirmative, in third person, we are going to add the S at the end of the verb. Okay? In negative, we use the auxiliary. He doesn't speak. In third person, verbs lose the final S in negative sentences. Okay? We don't add the S. It doesn't speak English. Here we say the base form of the infinitive to go, to need, to speak, to live. We are going to change that. We don't use this to. We use just the auxiliary, don't. Okay? Here we have another. I no live in Japan. We don't say like that. I don't live in Japan. She has a cat. So here we have this verb that is tener. When we use the third person, he, she, or it, we are going to use has. Okay, we are going to change this verb for has. So we are going to say, she has a cat. In negative, we are going to say, she doesn't have a cat. Because we have here this auxiliary form, doesn't, we are going to use the verb in a regular form. So we are going to say, she doesn't have a cat. We cannot say, she doesn't has a cat. No, because we have this auxiliary form here. The verb is going to stay like in a regular form. She doesn't have a cat. Just change when it's affirmative. She has a cat. Okay? The contractions. Don't, do not, doesn't, does not. Okay? We always try to use the contractions, always. So, any questions? Any questions, Stephanie?
No, teacher.
What about you, Fernando?
Teacher, no, thank you.
Okay. What is your real name?
Teacher, excuse me. That today I had to um, borrow a cell phone for a partner. Then I am with other device. I am Julian.
Okay, okay, okay. Because I don't have any Fernando here,
¿Es
so
una clase?
I was
¿Sí?
like, oh my God, what happened here? It's okay. Okay,
No en inglés, no en inglés.
okay, Julian, don't worry. Okay, this topic is really important, and we need to be careful with the S at the end of the third person. This is really important in affirmative sentences. When we are going to use questions or negative, we use the auxiliary do or does or don't or doesn't. Okay, so let me share again the screen. Here we have another PowerPoint with the explanation. So we have the positive form, negative, and question. It's the same thing that I said before. So positive form, in third person, we are going to add S at the end of the verb. In the regular, with the other persons, we are going to use the verb just in a regular form. In negative, we are going to use the auxiliary, does not or doesn't. And the verb, we are going to use the verb in a regular form. We don't add the S at the end, just in positive form, okay? So here we have the auxiliary, does not or doesn't. And for the rest of the persons, we are going to use do not or don't, okay? The verb is the same thing. Example, I like it. Example, I do not like it, or I don't like it. Example, she likes it. Negative, she does not like it, or she doesn't like it. In question, we use the auxiliary. For third person, we use does. For the rest, we use do. So, the verb is the same. We don't add the S at the end also. You like it? Do you like it? He likes it. Does she like it? Okay, now we are going to see a video. This is a conversation. I want you to pay attention because I am going to make some questions. This is a video for the simple present tense also. But here I have something, some examples also. Okay, here we have some examples also about the simple present tense. For giving personal information and describing your routine. I live in Melbourne. I am living in Melbourne sounds like you see, this is a temporary thing. I live in Melbourne, okay? When I say I live in Tunja, this is a real thing and it's not going to change. I have two brothers. I'm married and or I am single. I am about 178 centimeters and weighed 97 kilograms. I was born in September, so I am Virgo. This is thing that is not going to change. Okay. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I take the car, work, and get into the office at 9. Okay, we have here uh, an adverb of frequency. At the weekend, I usually have breakfast on our balcony and talk with the kids. Okay, we use this kind of adverbs of frequency. I rarely, sometimes, I never. Okay, talking about your job and responsibilities. I work for a large French company. I work in South Melbourne. I work at the building around the corner. I am I am in charge of the finance department. I take care of the kids when Julie's at work. My work involves preparing for meetings and giving presentations. Here we have an special case because he's going to use the simple present tense, the present simple tense, plus the verb plus ing form. This is possible. My work involves preparing for meetings and giving presentations. This case is possible, okay? I am responsible for ensuring all invoices are tracked and accounted for. I respond to customer inquiries about our products. I prepare training programs for management in our Singapore office. Okay, this is about our work, and this is the regular form of the verb. Okay? Talking about your likes and dislikes. I really like. I love you too. I am a big fan of Last Girl. I am really into opera and classical music. I don't mind golf, though it's a little boring. I am not into boxing, sorry. I can't stand Elton John. I hate American football. So we have here some examples about talking about likes and dislikes. Okay? And giving opinion. Okay. I think he's a wonderful person. I am thinking about my next holiday. So this is an action. I think record that President Obama is poor leader. I believe he's the best player of all time. I don't think he'll do that. Sorry, but I feel it's not the right time to do this. I don't believe that's true. In my opinion, this just isn't right. Okay, this is kind of opinions. We can say some opinions with the present simple tense. Talking about people, he's a great uh, guy. She dances really well. I really like the way she moves. My uncle's great a good love. What surprises what surprises me about him is his wicked sense of humor. What I like about her is that she's so impassioned. Okay, this is talking about different kind of people. Responding to your friend in a conversation. Yeah, definitely, that's for sure. I don't think so at all. Really? Why is that? I totally agree or disagree. I don't agree at all. You don't believe that, do you? That's a classic. That's great. Or that's terrible. That's wonderful. I'm not sure about that. Okay, texting. What are you up to, John? Do you fancy a drink? How about we go for a swim later? I look forward to it. I can't wait till later. Let's meet in front of the Swamp Hotel. Okay, we have here some examples and we have here some questions about the topic. So, Stephanie, what do you do for fun?
Teacher, what I do for fun?
Yes.
Well, I see movies in the cinema.
Okay. Julian, how often do you go out?
Excuse me, teacher. Can you repeat the question? I can understand you well.
Okay. How often do you go out?
Sometimes on weekends and on Sundays, exactly. I like go to the disco.
Okay, very good. Okay, Marelvis, what is your biggest addiction? Marelvis, do you hear me?
Um, no, teacher, I don't know. No, I don't have addiction.
Okay, I don't have addiction. Very good. Exactly. This is the perfect answer. Okay, very good.
The love.
For example, my addiction is the coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. Oh my God, this is too bad for me, but I love it. Okay, now let me show you some examples about the topic again. So we can see here some examples. I like drink Coke. He drinks Coca-Cola. Remember, add the S at the end of the verb in third person. You have a big house. We live in the forest. The cat plays with a ball. Remember, the cat is a third person and we add the verb, the S at the end of the verb, okay? The cat likes water. I don't wash the dishes. She doesn't like tea, just coffee. He doesn't like coffee, just Coke. They play guitar. Okay. Now let me show you again. Now I am going to show you the video about a real conversation. And after I am going to make some questions.
For a very special dinner, Stanley's Restaurant is a winner. Eating side by side.
Stanley's International Restaurant is a very special place. Every day, Stanley cooks a different kind of food. On Monday, he cooks Italian food. On Tuesday, he cooks Greek food. On Wednesday, he cooks Chinese food. On Thursday, he cooks Puerto Rican food. On Friday, he cooks Japanese food. On Saturday, he cooks Mexican food. And on Sunday, he cooks American food.
Stanley's International Restaurant.
What kind of food does Stanley cook on Monday?
On Monday, he cooks Italian food.
Thank you.
Stanley's International Restaurant.
What kind of food does Stanley cook on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, he cooks Chinese food.
Chinese food?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Stanley's International Restaurant.
Does Stanley cook Greek food on Tuesday?
Yes, he does.
Thank you.
Stanley's Restaurant.
Does Stanley cook Puerto Rican food on Thursday?
Yes, he does.
Thanks.
Does Stanley cook Japanese food on Sunday?
No, he doesn't.
When does he cook Japanese food?
He cooks Japanese food on Friday.
Excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Does Stanley cook Chinese food on Monday?
No, he doesn't.
When does he cook Chinese food?
He cooks Chinese food on Wednesday.
I see. Thank you. Excuse me, sir. We're filming a commercial for Stanley's Restaurant. May I ask you one or two questions?
Certainly. Go right ahead. Roll it.
Do you go to Stanley's Restaurant on Wednesday?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I like Chinese food.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Excuse me. We're filming a commercial.
A commercial? You mean a TV commercial?
Yes. May I ask you one or two questions?
Sure.
Roll it.
Do you go to Stanley's Restaurant on Sunday?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because I don't like American food.
I see. Well, thank you, anyway. Excuse me, sir. We're doing a commercial. May I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
What kind of food do you like?
I like Russian food.
When do you go to Stanley's Restaurant?
I don't go there.
Why not?
Because Stanley doesn't cook Russian food.
What? Stanley doesn't cook Russian food?
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Thanks anyway.
No problem.
Why didn't you tell me? Stanley, your restaurant is a very special place.
Thank you.
What do people do at Stanley's International Restaurant?
On Monday, they speak Italian, eat Italian food, drink Italian wine, and listen to Italian music. On Tuesday, they speak Greek, eat Greek food, drink Greek wine, and listen to Greek music. On Wednesday, they speak Chinese, eat Chinese food, drink Chinese...
Thank you, Stanley. Yes, Stanley's International Restaurant is a very special place. So come on over to Stanley's Restaurant, the International Restaurant, where Stanley cooks a different kind of food every day. Okay? It's a wrap.
It's a wrap?
Yes, we're finished.
It's a wrap!
Okay. Okay, now I am going to make some questions. Stephanie, what do you understand about the video?
Okay, teacher, it's about a international restaurant, and every day of week, the chef prepares a different kind of food. So, for example, Monday is Italian food, and Tuesday is Greek food, Wednesday is Chinese food, etc.
Okay, very good. Julian, does Stanley cooks Russian food?
Teacher, yes, the video is about a restaurant. It's an international restaurant. The chef has different kind of foods for every day. For example, Mondays is Italian food. Thursday is Mexico food. At the final of the video, they give some short answer and, make some questions.
Okay. But does Stanley cooks Russian food?
Russian, no, no, I don't listen that.
Okay. So he doesn't. Okay. Elvis, what about you? What do you understand about the video?
The video show an international restaurant that prepare every day different dish. For example, on Wednesday prepare Chi eating Chinese and Sunday mm, and Mexican food.
Okay, okay. Very good. Okay, this is a conversation about some persons about one uh, international restaurant, and Stanley cooks a different kind of food for the persons. Some people that like, some people doesn't like, so it's okay. Now we have here some images. I want you to pick up one and write in the chat some phrases. Can be affirmative, negative, or question about these pictures. Okay? You can start right now, all of you. Okay? You can turn your microphone off, please. Okay, Marelvis, you can go. It's okay. Okay, the man drives his red car. Yes. Okay, Stephanie, very good.
Excuse me, teacher. As I am in a cell phone, I don't know how to write in the chat. Could
Uh,
I tell you everyone?
yes, you can also share with us talking. For example, you can pick up one, imagine, and talk about it.
Okay, teacher. Um, for example, the one she dance. The second is she she swims.
She swims.
She swims. The third is they walk to school.
They go
Um,
to school. Yes.
or he drives a car.
Yes, he drives a car.
Um, he plays basketball.
Yes, he plays basketball. Very good.
She writes in a computer.
Yes, very good.
They drink a cup of coffee.
Sure, very good.
Um, they they learn. They learn. No, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, it's okay. They learn science. Can you say?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
very
you.
okay. The blonde girl swims in the pool. The blonde girl doesn't swim in the pool. Does the blonde girl swim in the pool? Very good, Stephanie. Yes. Just remember that it's really important when we are going to talk about the third person to add in the verb the S at the end. Okay? Now I have here some phrases about the topic. My son lives in London. She plays basketball. Remember, the third person plus the verb plus S. And the rest of the phrase. She plays basketball. He catches the train every morning. Michael doesn't work. We have here one example in a negative form. We use the auxiliary plus the verb without the S. Okay? My father doesn't speak good English. He goes to football every day. He loves to play basketball. He goes to school. Does he go to school? We have here the auxiliary for the third person and the verb in a regular form. Does he go to school? She writes an email to her best friend. He thinks he is very handsome. It usually rains every day here. It smells very delicious in the kitchen. We generally sing songs all together. We go to a gallery every Sunday. Does he write an email? The sun rises at the east. George brushes her teeth twice a day. He gets up early every day. They speak English in USA. It snows a lot in winter in Russia. We live in Texas. You go to holiday every summer. My daughter does the laundry. My brother takes out the trash. Okay. Do you have any questions about the topic, Stephanie?
No, teacher, it's for clear for me.
What about you, Julian?
No, teacher. Thank you. I can understood everything.
Okay. So now we are going to make some exercise about the topic. Okay, this is example about the present simple tense. I want you to check the correct option of every single one. Okay, so we are going to start with Stephanie.
Okay,
The
teacher.
first one, Stephanie.
Okay. Bob always drinks tea in the morning.
Okay, the second one, Julian.
Teacher, the second is what does she like?
What does she like? The third one, Stephanie.
My sister doesn't play tennis.
Okay, the next one, Julian.
Teacher, they often visit their grandparents at weekends.
Okay, the next one, Stephanie.
We sometimes go to the ice rink.
Okay, the next one, Julian.
Teacher, where do your parents come from?
Next one.
Do you want to go home?
Yeah.
Teacher is I don't watch television after school.
Okay. Now we are going to complete the blanks using the present simple, the simple present. The first one, Stephanie.
Who does Sally visit in Spain?
Okay, the next one. You need to answer the question, Stephanie.
Okay. She visits her aunt and uncle.
Hmm.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, Julian.
Teacher, does some go to school by bus?
Okay, what is the answer?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He goes to school on foot.
Okay, very good. Let's
Goes, teacher.
go.
Goes.
Okay,
Yes.
Stephanie.
What does she watch on TV?
Okay, like this?
She watches the news, but she doesn't watch soap operas.
Okay, like this?
Doesn't, teacher, doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, very good. What about you, Julian?
Teacher, do they like swimming?
Okay, the answer?
Yes, they do, but they don't like running.
Okay. The next one, Stephanie.
When do you go to a football match? I go to a football match on Sundays.
Okay, let's see. Now we are going to check the questions and the answers. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So we have here, everything is good. Excellent, actually. Here we have a little mistake because I didn't use the contraction, but this is correct.
Ah, okay, teacher.
Okay, but it's correct. It's okay. Everything is good. It's excellent, actually. So I can see that you learned this topic very good.
Yeah, teacher, thank you.
Do you like the topic, Stephanie? What do you think about this topic?
Yes, I think this is a little difficult. For example, when I teach that topic little kids, it's very hard. But even for me, because I usually forget, for example, the S or the ES in the third person. But it's important for that practice and practice again.
Yes, it's true. Always, for example, I did a work and I forget this S at the end, and everybody was like, "Oh, what happened to you? This is
Yeah.
not really important. Why you forget this S at the end of the verb?" I was like, "Oh my God, what I did." But it's true. We need to always try our best to use this S at the end of the third person in a verb.
Most
Okay.
most in English spoken, I forget that. But
Yes,
right, well, I remember, but when I speak, hmm, I always forget that.
yes, it's true. But always we use the verb when we are going to talk about ourselves. Always we use the verb in a regular form. So
Yeah,
it's complicated when we start to talk about to another person about in a third person, because always we forget this s at the end of the verb. But this just practice, and we need to
yeah,
take care, and we need to practice a lot about this topic. And with the auxiliary is better, because in a question or in a negative sentences we can use the auxiliary, so it's easy for us. What about you, Julian? What do you think about this topic?
Teacher, I think this tense is important. I had some troubles regarding to the question. When I am reading, it's difficult sometimes to some question that is longer and they use do or dash. Difficult for me. But at the is at the final of the word, finally I am learned to add this.
Yeah.
That was something that months or years ago was difficult for me. I always forget the this.
Yes, yes, it's true. It's just question of practicing a lot. But it's really important to try to don't forget this s at the end of the third person in a verb, and also try to manage the auxiliary for the different cases. It's really important. Just practice a lot, and try to make some phrases about the topic. Okay. So this is the topic for today for this session. I hope you like this session. Do you have any questions?
no, teacher, thanks a lot.
Okay. What about you, Julian?
No, teacher, thank you so much.
Okay. So I hope you can practice. For the next session, we are going to check the topic is the past, the simple past. So I hope you can check a little bit about this topic. And anyway, I will send you a message for WhatsApp about the in the next session, and see you on Friday, I guess.
Okay, teacher, thanks a lot. Blessings. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye, and have a good day too.
Okay.
Okay, teacher, thank you. Bye bye.
So much.
Thank you
Bye
for the class.
bye.
Bye.
Okay.